and Mr. Liang Jian, the DG of the Guangdong Office for Poverty Alleviation from Guangdong. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the media, good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank you for showing long-term support and attention to the work of poverty alleviation. Today, together with Mr. Wang Dayang and Mr. Liang Jian, I will talk about the consumption-driven poverty alleviation in China. We will try our best to eliminate poverty in this country. This is a must and also an important condition to the building of a comfortable society in China. President Xi Jinping has already issued many guidelines for our work. We have also published the documents from the central authority to guide the work of the consumption-driven poverty alleviation. And we have also published the working plan for 2020 of using the consumption-driven poverty alleviation to assist the building of the moderately prosperous society. We are facing double challenges. During the meeting of the 6th of March, President Xi has clearly pointed out that we have to carry out the consumption-driven poverty alleviation. Together with the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Finance, and also the National Association of Supply and Sales, we have launched coordinated efforts to apply the guidelines from the President of the country. Together, we have adopted the measures to facilitate the consumption-driven poverty alleviation. Multiple measures are already in place to facilitate this consumption-driven poverty alleviation. First of all, we have to promote the market-based sales of the product related to the poverty alleviation. For places located in the central and western part of China, they will join in our program. There are 23 provinces located in these designated areas. In total, there are 76,000 products included in this project. And we have more than 20,000 suppliers throughout the year. They could offer a value of product of 800 million. Second is to improve the service system. Today, for the transaction market, enterprises and also social organizations are all in our support. We have enabled the social entities and also mobilized the market players to join this effort. Today, the total volume of the sales of this product related to poverty alleviation has exceeded 100 million yuan. Third is the information collection and publication to better serve our consumers. For those that want to sell and those that want to buy, we would like to build up a bridge of connection between them. In September, we're about to embrace a lot of fresh agro products in the market. In order to further promote consumption-driven poverty alleviation, expand the marketing of the project, tap the potential, the State Council Leading Group Office of the Poverty Alleviation and Department and Development work together with other departments of the country and authorities. For example, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Commerce will organize together the national month of the promotion for products connected with the poverty alleviation. This will further promote the consumption-driven poverty alleviation action. There will be more than 10,000 enterprises engaged in this program. We will organize, first of all, a launching ceremony, a press conference, and also a earmarked program. We also have earmarked a fund for the promotion of this consumption-driven poverty alleviation. We will also organize a festival to celebrate the Autumn Festival of the Farmers. By the end of August, including currently, it's the stage of publication and advertisement, and by September, we will put everything in execution. The relevant authorities will give guidelines to the localities to organize the activities suitable to their own features. Moving forward, we will demonstrate the results yielded in this campaign. For example, in October, we're about to unveil the results related to the consumption-driven poverty alleviation to the public. We will continue to work under the guidance of the central government and continue to boost the consumption-driven poverty alleviation as an important means of the building of the moderately prosperous society. Through consumption-driven poverty alleviation, we could at the same time help the farmers living in the impoverished areas and also to sustain the food supply in the urban areas. We have to set up short-term measures and also long-term mechanisms. And today, consumption-driven poverty alleviation in the general manner should also be combined with the more targeted programs for the poverty alleviation. Today, we would like to help the farmers to sell their products at a better price and also set up a good mechanisms to cultivate good industries in the impoverished areas and also create a very good platform for the social participation. By doing that, we could help the farmers to sell all of their products. Later, my colleagues and I, Mr. Wang Dayang, Liang Jian, will take your questions. And now the floor is open for your questions. Before giving the question, please first identify yourself. I'm from CCTV. I have a question for Vice Minister Hong. You have mentioned that we're about to launch the September campaign, the National Month for Consumption-Driven Poverty Alleviation, and what will be the long-term plan? Thank you for asking that question. This shows that you have paid a lot of attention to our work. Since the battle against poverty in this country, the central government has attached great importance to this work, and President Xi Jinping himself has also given a lot of guidelines. For the impoverished areas, we will try to help the local farmers to sell their products at a very good price. This is a consumption-driven poverty alleviation, and we have to work harder to realize this objective. And in recent years, we have also briefed the media relevant progress. For those stagnation problems existing in the sales of agro products coming from the impoverished areas, we have already proposed a lot of solutions to the local farmers, and we mobilized a variety of market entities. And since 2015, we have helped Longnan from Gansu province to sell their local product. They have been designated as a pilot program. After having a good practice from this place, we asked the whole country, the other provinces, to learn from the experience of Longnan. We also have set up an evaluation system. One indicator is to see whether we could help the local impoverished areas to sell their products at a better price. That is just an example. Today, we have already carried out a large scale of poverty alleviation actions according to the decision of President Xi Jinping. This is a timely guideline and decision. I'd like to go into details in explanation from several aspects. First of all, the consumption-driven poverty alleviation has also met the challenge from the COVID-19 and the unpredicted natural disaster of this year. So to better cope with the natural disasters, including the epidemic COVID-19, is an urgent task for our side. We have to find solutions to this problem so that we could respect our timetable to accomplish the goal of building a moderately prosperous society. In recent years, we have also made a lot of progress with the poverty alleviation in the impoverished areas. But how could we sustain this progress? How could we help them to build up their brand? And also to sustain the promotion of the product in the market. This is one of our top priorities. And in the speech of President Xi, it is stated that we have to deepen our efforts in the consumption-driven poverty alleviation. So we have to engage more social entities and also market forces. In 2015, by November, President Xi has pointed out the importance of the social forces. He said that in our society, we have enough care and attention to the poor people. But what is lacking there is efficient platform for the connection and utilization of the resources. So by the end of this year, we're about to accomplish this ambitious goal. Whether we could have a sustainable poverty alleviation is a key issue for the agenda of the central government. The NDRC has already included this part. That means the consolidation of the results from the poverty alleviation campaign as a pillar in the 14th five-year plan. We have to consolidate the success from the consumption-driven poverty alleviation campaign. And we are also in close collaboration with other authorities. Next question, please. Thank you. I'm from Hong Kong media. We know that the consumption-driven poverty alleviation could help the farmers in impoverished areas and also help the supply of agro-food in the urban areas. Could we have access to those foods online and offline? Thank you for your question. I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Wang Dayang. Thank you for paying attention to this issue. People are also interested in finding an access to those agro products coming from the impoverished areas in order to help the farmers. Today, online and offline, many social entities, market players are in full participation in helping the circulation of the products. We have several types of promotion. First of all, the existing channels for the circulation of products, including online and offline channels. Inside those existing channels, we will set up a designated area. For example, on the platforms like Taobao, Suning, Pinduoduo, and JD, we will give a designated area for the sales of those poverty alleviation related agro-foods. So if consumers are interested in buying those kind of agro-foods, they will be directly linked to those areas. And the secondly is the counter or the stand for the sales of poverty alleviation related agro products. And we also have designated saloons for the sales of product. We have the online platforms. For example, we have set up a special website specialized in the sales of agro-foods coming from the impoverished areas. And another way is the offline platform. In different provinces, they have set up their own promotion saloons or exhibition halls for the poverty alleviation related products. And the third kind is created by those philanthropic enterprises that have an ambition to help selling the products coming from impoverished areas. We can also use the high-tech ways to sell the products. For example, the unmanned selling machines, they are very close to our daily life. For example, in our communities, we can find in some places those kind of unmanned selling machines, vending machines. And also in the shopping centers or the complex, you may also find a place to buy the agro products coming from the impoverished areas. So in general, we have those above mentioned several types, like the designated area, designated counter or stand, or designated exhibition halls for the promotion of poverty alleviation related products. All those platforms and channels have made the sales of products much easier than before, and it's more convenient for consumers to have an access to those products. But moving forward, we will continue to come up with new ideas, for example, by using the official website for the social poverty alleviation to set up the bridge of connection between the vendors and consumers. We will give them the chance to access to a centralized platform for exhibition and also the platforms for the meeting between the sellers and the buyers. We will also give publications and information release to our consumers and to the suppliers of the agro products so that they know where they could go for the products like this kind. At the same time, we also have authorities for the supervision of the market. They will help to control the quality of the products and the authenticity of the information to better protect the interests and the rights of the consumers. Since we have such a diversified range of channels and ways of accessing to the poverty alleviation related products, everyone could choose the one that suits them best. Next question, please. As we know, the southern part of China has suffered a lot from the flooding disaster. What is the impact for the impoverished areas, and what is your measure and response to this natural disaster? I'd like to take your question. This year, we have encountered unpredicted COVID-19 epidemic and also natural disasters. For example, the flood that you have mentioned. The flood has covered a lot of areas in southern China. This is a big headache for the Chinese people. And for the relevant work that we have accomplished, I'd like to make a briefing. Until August, 8 provinces in China, including Anhui, have 296 impoverished villages greatly suffered from the flood. We have collected the information from the big data system. More than 2 million people have suffered from this flood disaster. Local authorities have already taken prompt measures in response to the disaster. After the disaster, roads are destructed and the food supply was cut. Those are the barriers to the normal circulation of the agro-foods and also the sales of the product. And also after the flood, many migrant workers have decided to go back to their original village in order to give a hand. I have some statistics for you now. Just now, as I mentioned, more than 2 million people suffering from the disaster of the flood. For example, 400,000 people have problems in having safe drinking water. 130,000 people have housing problems after the flood. 90% of the people have already fixed their housing problem, but still 10% of the rest, they are still struggling with the housing issues. The local government at different levels have taken effective measures to help those population, as many as 2 million people, to cope with this disaster. And after the flood catastrophe, about 13,000 rural households that have already been lifted out of poverty may take the risk of getting back into poverty. In that scenario, we have to accelerate our efforts and also collaborate with other departments to help those households. For example, the central government has allocated 10 million RMB to help the disaster-stricken areas. And furthermore, we will give more preferential policies to the areas. Like in the impoverished counties and impoverished villages, the leading officials are all at the front line of fighting against the epidemic and also the disaster. First of all, they have clarified the status quo of every household living in their governing area. And for the harvest of the crops, they have also accelerated their progress so that they could save as much crop as possible. At the same time, we have also helped to stabilize the employment in those disaster-stricken areas. For example, the registered employee and employees already at workplace, we will make a comparison to see how many people are still absent from work and what problems they are having. So that is about this question. The next one, please. Thank you. I'm from China Daily. Just now, as is mentioned by Mr. Hong, you have mentioned we have the national month for the campaign of consumption-driven poverty alleviation. Could you please give us more details? Actually, I have already shared with you the activities involved in this campaign. and my colleagues have also mentioned some of it. For example, the 4 earmarked projects, the Harvest Festival, the Autumn Festival. Among the 4 designated projects, we have also the designated channels, designated exhibition halls, and designated stands and counters for the sales of the products. And later you will also receive the booklet with more details and organizing details. The National Month for Consumption-Driven Poverty Alleviation will start next month, and this year marks also the final year for the battle against the poverty in this country. For the other information, is already covered by my colleague during the previous presentation. At central level, that is about our preparation, and maybe there will be more details from the locality. So later you may have some more information from our colleague Liang Jian representing the Guangdong province. He will also share with you some local projects with Guangdong feature. Next question, please. Thank you. The promotion of products with live stream programs is very popular today. It can help the farmers to get richer and sell more products, and also let our consumers to have more choices. But still today, for the live stream program platform based promotion of products, there are also some other problems. For example, the logistics and the circulation of the products, etc. First of all, we have to admit that the promotion of products with the live stream programs is a very good choice, and it's something that we should support. From this point, we welcome all the stars and other famous persons to help promote the products online on this live stream program. Yes, of course, today for the live stream platforms promotion of products, there are some problems unfixed. First of all, they have played an active role in helping the promotion of product, because marketing is very important for the sales of the product. But at the same time, we also have to admit that sometimes if you invite a KOL or a very famous person or a music star, movie star to help promote your product, you may have a rocketing expenditure in the marketing side. So finally, when you do the calculation, you find that the profit is very limited. So we have to look at this issue from a very objective angle. Today, for most of the impoverished areas, due to the limitation of the infrastructure like the roads and other circulation network, they're already lagging behind in comparison with the urban areas. So we are also making further plans to help develop new models of promotion of products. Those impoverished areas are also encouraged to join actively in our campaigns. At the same time, we also have to acknowledge that the industrial production chain is not enough, and even existing supply chains are very fragile in face of challenges and some current problems. For example, the infrastructure for the delivery, infrastructure for the logistics are at a very low level. We're about to reach the deadline of the battle against the poverty in this country. But very soon we will start the 14th five-year plan. We will encourage more impoverished areas and the farmers living there to join the market competition and to have a better perception of the market signals. In our national campaign of consumption-driven poverty alleviation, the government has to play a leading role, but at the same time, we also expect the farmers to participate more and collaborate more with the authorities. I'd like to know what is the process of identification of consumption-driven poverty alleviation products. Thank you for this question. By what criteria could we identify a product as a product for poverty alleviation? Could we call all the products produced by the impoverished areas products for poverty alleviation? Actually, we have an official procedure in place. As to the definition of the product for poverty alleviation, first of all, they have been produced by regions and places in the central and western part of the country, and they have to benefit the farmers and also our actions for poverty alleviation. So through those products, we have to make contribution to the alleviation of poverty in those areas and also mobilized the local farmers. So that is the basic definition for the product for poverty alleviation. Today we have also to catch up with our policies and market conditions and the whole environment for the sales of the product. And for the registration procedure of the product, the enterprises could voluntarily hand over their application. And then at local level, the authorities will take charge of the identification. And then they have to move up the ladder, wait for a further approval from a higher level of authority. So now you may want to ask, where could we go in order to have the registration? First of all, in those designated counties and villages that have a task for poverty alleviations in the central part or western part of China, we have offices located. And who could apply for the registration of a product? First of all, you must be a legal person. For example, enterprises for the production or the farmers' cooperatives. We ask for this identity of legal person because usually the farmers' cooperatives as an entity and the enterprises, they could shoulder the responsibility of guarantee the food safety of their product. And the third question, where could we get the information about the product for poverty alleviation? On a regular basis, we will release the results of approval for the product on our website for social poverty alleviation. And the fourth question, what is the authority for the supervision and control? We have the national authority and department And at the same time, with the hotline 12315 and other hotlines, we could pick up your phones if you have a complaint to make or you have a question to ask. I'd like to add up one thing. The three elements for the poverty alleviation related product. First of all, it should be a qualified, safe product. Otherwise, we cannot let it into the market. Second, the product should propose an average price according to the benchmark of the market. You could not say that it's a product for poverty alleviation, then you propose a rocketing price. And the third element is that your product should contribute to our campaign of poverty alleviation. Our local office for the approval of this poverty in the locality will give an assessment to your product to see by the production of your agro-food whether you could actually help the local farmers to earn more money and also help to improve the livelihood of the local producers. After checking all the boxes, we could give you the official approval. Then after the three steps and meeting the three standards, we could say that you have a product for poverty alleviation. Do you have questions for Mr. Liang, the DG of the Guangdong Office for Poverty Alleviation? Thank you. I'm from China News Agency. I'd like to know what are the local measures for the poverty alleviation driven by consumption in Guangdong. Thank you for your question. Our provincial government has attached great importance to the consumption-driven poverty alleviation because we know it's an important tool for accomplishing the goal of building a moderately prosperous society. We are also working under the guidelines from the central government, especially the State Council Leading Group Office of Poverty Alleviation and Development. Our governors and also the party secretary of the province have played a leading role in promoting the consumption-driven poverty alleviation. We have upgraded our program for the poverty alleviation and expanded the channels for helping the local poverty-stricken areas. For example, we first create a favorable environment for the poverty alleviation. In Guangdong province, we mobilize the whole society to participate in this campaign of poverty alleviation. We have also invited social media and traditional media to join our efforts so that today the idea of consumption-driven poverty alleviation is very well accepted by the whole society. It has developed into a consensus. In the traditional culture of China, we prefer to do philanthropic work for the benefits of the others. It is also true in our province. And today, the consumption-driven poverty alleviation is a very good example and an effective way of realizing that goal. All classes and social participants of the society, including the public sector and the private sector, are all involved in this effort. At provincial level, we have published a series of measures for the promotion of consumption-driven poverty alleviation. Official documents have been released. And then at lower levels, we also have collaborating mechanisms. We have set up the mechanisms for realizing a synergy among different social collaborators. And today we also have other measures to guarantee the supply of the products. With the existing mechanisms, we are working together with the impoverished areas to set up the growing areas for agro-food and also for animal raising, so that they could help to guarantee the supply in the urban areas. We're also applying the standardization in the production of agro-food, and also we are engaging 808 developing parks for the agriculture. And third, we have set up the transaction mechanism in our province. For example, we are in collaboration with the central and western provinces of the country, and with the help of this transaction mechanism, it's helping the circulation of the products. This transaction area has a surface of 50,000 square meters. Government is playing a leading role and enterprises are collaborating. Every week we have promotion activities, and every year we also have annual events. These measures will help us to better realize the consumption-driven poverty alleviation. And today we have been recognized as a leading force in helping the poverty alleviation through consumption. And today, Guangdong province, or the bigger picture of the Greater Bay Area, will do our best in helping those impoverished areas. And we also are making efforts in contributing to the establishment of an ecosystem. For example, the units of work in our province are giving more preferential policies in the purchasing of products coming from the impoverished areas from central and western provinces of China. Enterprises and corporations like Biguiyuan and Hengda, they are also doing best to purchase from those impoverished areas. On the 30th of June, we have mobilized a total amount of purchasing as much as 600 million RMB. Today we are using purchasing activities instead of direct donation to the impoverished areas. According to our statistics, this year, the sales of poverty alleviation products reached 24.3 million RMB in the poverty alleviation campaign. This has showcased the responsibility assumed by our province. Moving forward, we will continue to work under the guidance of the State Council Leading Group Office of Poverty Alleviation and Development to mobilize 100 million people from the society and also 10,000 enterprises. Very briefly, first of all, we will continue to promote the 4 designated programs. For example, the adaptation of the designated programs on the soils of Guangdong. And next, for the supermarkets, shops, offline and online platforms, we have also designed all kinds of promotion activities, purchasing the products from the impoverished areas. And furthermore, we have the 5 leading programs covering the purchasing of products from impoverished areas, publication of the 2nd provincial list of the poverty alleviation related products, approve the next batch of vegetable supply packs, and also put in place a evolving assessment mechanism for the products. During the National Month of Consumption-Driven Poverty Alleviation, we will collaborate with Guangxi Province, Sichuan Province, and Yunnan Province to organize 6 promotion events. Today, we are also organizing the poverty alleviation-related fair right now in our province. And currently, I bet that they are doing the opening ceremony. And today's press conference is also like a prologue for the Provincial Month for Consumption-Driven Poverty Alleviation Program in Guangdong. And later, we will also incorporate this action with the Guangdong Fair and also the Guangxi Exchange event. We have also received information that Sichuan Province is about to organize their own event for the promotion of poverty alleviation-related products, and they're in collaboration with Gansu. And I believe that there will be more similar events coming forward. All those activities are in connection with the central provinces and western provinces in China, and we have also received the support from the authorities of trade and commerce. After last year's exhibition, this year, by September, we're about to organize the second session of the exhibition. Last year's event has already revealed preliminary success, and now we are preparing for the coming event in September. Mr. Liang has presented the status quo of poverty alleviation in Guangdong in a lot of details. And I'd like to add up some more information. Guangdong is a leading province for the consumption-driven poverty alleviation. Today, we are also learning the good practices from Guangdong. We have also organized meetings for learning. For the 22 provinces from central and western part of China, we are doing the assessment of poverty alleviation work. And 9 provinces and 14 key cities from the eastern part of China are also shouldering the leading tasks for helping the poor areas in the country. We are helping the sales and promotion of poverty alleviation products coming from the impoverished areas. Today, we have already sold 26.4 billion RMB. Coming from the impoverished areas in the central and western part of the province. And today in the market, about 30% of the agri-foods come from the impoverished areas of the central and western part of China. Thank you. I'm from CCTV. We have noticed that for some products, they are very dependent on the government support. How could we change the status quo of those products and make them more independent? And what will be the role played by the authorities in the future? I'd like to take this question. Yes, we have to acknowledge that is a fact. For the government, of course, we have to encourage and guide the promotions and sales of the product based on the market mechanism. This is our duty. From the side of the government, we will not take over the products and sell the products for the farmers. We only help to promote, give some assistance in the promotion of the products. And today, the government at local levels and the local enterprises are assuring the farmers that if you could guarantee the production, then we would guarantee the channels of promotion and sales. This is like a kind of promise, but it doesn't mean that government will take over the product first and sell through the government channels. In our country, we don't have a lot of places for the growing of olive trees. Only in the Bailongjiang River Basin. We have a very big area because in the 1960s, we have received the species from foreign countries for the olive trees. And local people are doing experiments to see how could adapt those tree species to the local soil. In the future, I believe that we could have more chances to promote this product. So the local efforts are very important. And after launching of the National Campaign for Consumption-Driven Poverty Alleviation, we have determined that we have to strengthen the control of quality and surveillance on the products. At the same time, we also have to keep an eye on the behaviors of market entities and local government. For many products in our country, especially in the impoverished areas, they have not yet reached a certain standard for a brand product, and they have not yet succeeded in the brand making. In that case, we have to ask them to guarantee the quality first and then propose a reasonable price. We could not say that because it's a product for poverty alleviation, then we use this tag to kidnap our consumers and force the consumers to accept the products. Quality should always come first. If there's any misbehaviors, the kidnapping actions against the consumers or the taking over of products by local government, then you could call our hotline 12317. Next question, please. I'm from People's Daily. Just now, you have mentioned the role played by the government and how you have mobilized the social forces like the society and market. But I have to ask some questions from the point of view of the consumers. The transactions should always be considered as a market-based action. Just now, Mr. Wang Dayang has also introduced to us the procedure of identification of the product. Do you have a mechanism to guarantee the good quality of the product? Will you accept all the products for poverty alleviation, or you will just pick the best products to be identified as this product? Once discovering a quality problem related to the poverty alleviation product, in what way could we protect our interests and rights? I'd like to take your question. The promotion of the consumption-driven poverty alleviation will also pay attention to giving a better experience of consumption to our users. First of all, for the mechanisms of the protection of quality of food, before the identification of the product, as is mentioned by Mr. Hong, we already asked them to bring us products that reach the standard for quality. And then for